last time against LSU, just how big a difference was it not having Justin Smith? And also, I guess they had their whole starting five scored double figures. Just what do you have to do defensively that you didn't do that night?
Well, LSU's a great offensive team, second in the SEC in scoring, and they're a great free throw shooting team. They second in the league in steals, so us taking care of the ball is really important. The turnover battle, the rebounding battle, those are two key components to the game tomorrow. But yeah, we are different with Justin. I think we saw that in the in the game against Bama, and all five of their starters, especially their big four. Those four guys can really score, meaning number 1, Smart, number 24, Thomas, number 4, Days, and number 2, Watford. All four of those guys are really, really good scorers. And they have 2 of the top 6 rebounders in Days and Watford. So, we've got to hold our ground on defensive blockouts. We can't get dislodged. That's that's something that we've got to get better at from a physicality standpoint against LSU.
Thank
That's
you.
a long-winded answer, Nate.
That'll work. Thank you.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, obviously an emotional win the other night. How was practice yesterday? Did you feel like those guys did a good job of flushing the Bama game and refocusing for LSU?
Yeah, it's yesterday was not it was more of a mental practice, I'll say, than a physical practice. We're talking about, each guy, we're trying to come up with different techniques. And, even with Connor, we're studying taller, big players in the NBA, like Mark Gasol and Lopez and their technique on pick and rolls. And, interesting, those guys, a lot of those guys, I'm even learning as a coach, we always tell our players to get low on defense. And when you start studying some of the 7-foot guys in the NBA and pick and rolls, a lot of those guys don't get lower and actually are a little bit more upright. So we're just trying to figure out, how we can continue to get better in certain aspects of the game.
Jacob.
Eric, senior day tomorrow, an interesting group that you guys have that you're sending off. How can you best describe the 4 seniors that you guys are going to be celebrating tomorrow?
Yeah, Jacob, obviously, it's pretty unique because it's senior night and then we have another game at home the following Saturday. So it's a little discombobulated, whatever. So it's, I'm really worried, about LSU and, our seniors. It's a unique group, obviously. Khalil for the reasons that we all know, and he's become such a integral part of our team with his coaching on the floor, and he gives me a pulse of the team every day. Mecca's been here and works hard in practice and is kind of an energy guy for us, and then obviously Jalen Tate and Justin and Vance, 3 guys that have just been here for a year, and but 3 guys that trusted us in a valuable time in their careers, because when you only get 1 year to play, and they trusted us to come here, and they've all made tremendous impacts on the program as well.
Bob.
Hey Eric, hope your polo shirt's okay. Hey, Jerry Paul from CBS has got you guys up to a 3 seed. I think Joe Lenardi's got you a 5 seed. I saw where Dick Vitale tweeted something about your big win. So you guys are getting a lot of national attention, and I guess it's probably hard to insulate the players from that totally. Just how do you balance that between wanting to enjoy the ride but not get distracted?
Well, I got a question for you, Bob. How how did they move you down in the batting order today with the questions?
I don't know. I'm just glad to be in the lineup.
I mean, Kaywood, what's the deal? The guy strike out for 3 or 4. Now we're moving it down in the order.
Bob started off Justin, so we kind of mixed it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that, all that stuff that's written, it change, like it's moment by moment, Bob, as far as the, the bracketology or whatever. So I mean, the amount of time and effort and energy that I spend on it's zero. Cause I know, like, if you win a game, it's going to change. You lose a game, it's going to change. And so the only thing we really got to focus on is LSU. Obviously, as we talked about earlier, though, there is concern after a big emotional win, just, being able to turn the page as quick as possible. And, we had, like I said, I mean, I felt like our team yesterday, they went through a little bit more than I thought we were going to be able to, but they were a tired group yesterday. Today we'll be able to do a lot more from a physical standpoint. Again, yesterday was just a bunch of mental stuff.
And I think early in the year, it might have been Nikki that asked you about the seniors. I mean, I think they've all indicated they're ready to move on after this season. Has anything changed in that regard?
No, I mean, I haven't really talked to any of them about anything other than the next game. And, I've seen one player, say that, that he's coming back for a 5th year, and I don't know or a 6th year, I don't know what the player's actual clock looked like that I read about from another program. But I mean, I think right now it's like, let's just continue to worry about, the games on our schedule. And if anybody, wants to discuss that, then, we'd love to. But, 2 of them have already put their name in early for the draft prior to even coming here. So, again, I think let's just keep focusing on the Tigers.
And you guys still mathematically have a shot to win the conference title. It might be a deal where you end up half a game ahead of Alabama, could be half a game behind. Is that I know you won conference titles in the Mountain West. Is that meaningful to you to win the conference title if possible?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Bob. I'm still worried about how do we get in the NCAA tournament. That's literally my number one, because just crazy stuff happens. Our goal is to try to win, the next game on our schedule. That's like the most important thing. So, 2 home games left, the one game at South Carolina, and then conference tournament stuff. So, I mean, obviously, you try to position yourself, Bob, to be in as good a position as you can be going into whatever segment of the season you're going into. In non-conference, you want to put yourself where you have some good rhythm and momentum going into conference play, and to finish up the regular season conference, we'd like to put ourselves in the best position that we possibly can going into the SEC tournament, and then so on and so forth. So certainly we would, we want to try to do everything we can to win these last few games.
And then what was your reaction to A&M getting rescheduled, being at home? And I assume that they won't try to add an 18th SEC game. Has there been any talk about that somehow, or?
No, I don't think that'll happen. I mean, for us, we'll take these next 2 games and then, go review our other 2 preps that we've already done.
Do you feel good the Aggies will be able to be here and play, given what they've been through?
I mean, I think we just talk about that game as we get closer, because, I mean, who knows?
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach Justin and Jalen have played really well together lately, especially on the defensive end. What do you like about those 2 guys, when they share the floor with each other?
I think they got, they have good chemistry on the floor, Scotty, and off the floor. They're both ball movers. They're both unselfish. They're both competitive. They're both our voice in huddles. They're our voice at halftime. just great leadership, with both those guys. And it's been really cool to see their, relationship off the floor as well continue to develop.
I don't know if we asked you about Jalen Tate the other night, but he scored the ball really well, especially in the first half, and made life pretty tough on John Petty, when he was on the ball.
No, Jalen's, I think he's gotten, continues to improve offensively with us for sure. And then defensively, we kind of expect him to, to do a really solid job on whoever he guards. And he doesn't ever have a night off. That's the amazing thing defensively is he's drawing, the top perimeter assignment every single night. And then Justin's drawing, the toughest, up front player that we feel we've got to try to contain.
Nikki.
Yeah, Coach, the governor today, I guess, downgraded from mandate to guidelines for capacity at venues. So are you pushing to maybe get some more students in there on Saturday or for the A&M game, or do you think that's something that could possibly happen?
I think I have no idea. Would I like more? Yeah, absolutely. Am I hopeful? Yeah. But again, I know there's, it's way over my head, I guess, Nikki, is what I'm saying. But yes, we hope that, that we can get at least a few more people. I know that, I'm sure that there's protocol on how you go about adding, even once the governor makes his statement, there's still, the health and all that stuff is again over. But yeah, I hope we have more people.
Nate.
Yeah, just because of A&M's history, can you work on an alternate game just in case they, go it late and cancel again?
No, but we could, we potentially could have, and we could still schedule another game, anytime from now until, until we go to the SEC tournament. I don't think that that'll be what we do, Nate, just based on the conversation with our players, unless it's, unless something changes between now and, or unless the guys look at the calendar and realize that after the A&M game, they got to be stuck with me for practice for a few days. They might rather play some type of game than deal with our practices. So I guess the guys could come to me, sometime between now and next week and say, hey, we'd like to keep our rhythm. Is there any way to schedule a non-conference game after the A&M scheduled game and before the SEC tournament? So I guess that'd probably be a small possibility. But, it has been discussed a little bit with the coaching staff just because we would be one game under the NCAA limit. So that could be a possibility.
Thanks.
Bob, follow up.
Yeah, Eric, I'm sure a lot of this is you guys getting to play at home, but I think you're 5-1 in the two seasons here in rematches when somebody beats you. In other words, you lost to Missouri here, you beat them there, you paid back Tennessee and Alabama and LSU last year. And do you think there's something about playing a team and you swept Auburn? Is there something about playing a team a second time where you feel like your prep is really on, or is it more about being at home or more about wanting payback? What would you attribute that record to?
I'm not sure, Bob. I think that every game takes on its own identity. The theme of the games just kind of developed during the course of the 40 minutes. And, but certainly I think that, when you lose a game, there's a heightened awareness in the locker room and, you're able to digest and really dive into areas of weaknesses and areas to improve, which I hope that our staff, that's what we're supposed to do, is try to come up with some type of, formula to help our guys. And there's always rhythms and styles, with the regularity, even of the flow of an offense against certain teams, and how do you, help with that? And so, there should be, I'm sure there's tweaks going on with both the opponent and our own team. And, in an NBA situation, in NBA playoffs, I mean, you see that all the time. I mean, you talk about adjustments in a 7-game series or a 5-game series even. I mean, that's constant. That's really hard to do. I don't know if there's too much correlation when you played somebody 3 weeks ago and there might be different starting lineups, and Justin didn't play in game 1. LSU's, at least of late, is starting, number 15 Hyatt over number 0 Wilkinson. So there's, I think there's just differences that take place, as opposed to like a pro series.
And you guys are, I think I got this right, you guys are 14-1 at home this year in a season where a lot of the home court advantage has been impacted by the lack of fans being able to attend, and nobody's beating you here when Justin's played. I know it's not like having 20,000 people, but I know you've commented after some games that the crowd, like the Auburn game, crowd helped you. What have you thought about the atmosphere in Walton Arena in this, weirdest of seasons?
Number one environment in college basketball during a pandemic, no argument, Bud Walton.
Does that surprised you? I mean, not that the Arkansas fans aren't supportive, but just that it could be that good an atmosphere given the limitations.
I mean, we've, even the Alabama game, I thought that our student section was awesome. I mean, I thought that they helped us create energy in the building, and I'm going to assume that we'll have great energy in the building. Hopefully our team will have it, but I think our building, you can even feel it sometimes, like, before introductions. It's not just, when we make a run. So yeah, I do think that we've had great crowds. Me personally, and then our entire staff, we've never been hit with so many ticket requests as we were for this game. We were just talking at lunch, and there's probably amongst, our group of staff members, there's 200 or 300 people probably that we don't have tickets or access to even ourselves as a staff. I've been amazed at former players and just the amount of text messages of people trying to get in to the game on Saturday.
The band's right below us. I don't know if you noticed this, they can play drums, but the other kids, they can't play their, I guess you call them brass instruments, trombones and trumpets and tubas and whatever it is, because I guess, you have a mask and then you don't want droplets coming out through the instruments. But the kids are still showed up and they're jumping around. They're wearing their, I guess, whatever their band outfits are. I don't know if anybody else is doing that or not. I thought it was pretty unique that a band member would show up because they want to play, just like you guys want to play.
It'd be like us walking out there without a ball.
Yeah, I mean, do you appreciate the fact that they're there and jumping around and doing, whatever kids, do?
Love it. Couldn't appreciate it more. I mean, like I said, they've turned our building into a true college. It's still a college basketball environment in the middle of a pandemic.